about getting automation, processes, industrial revolution. The third was about electronics and ultimately the computer. And the fourth revolution we think is going to completely transform our lives, because at the core of it, you have the digital transformation of mobility. And you take a couple of various different sectors. For example, in education, the way in which students are learning today has been fundamentally transformed. I've got a 10-year-old girl and twin 6-year-old boys. And the way in which they learn today in the Silicon Valley of Santa Clara has been transformed through Khan Academy. They watch videos in the afternoon and evening, and they come to the classroom and have a discussion. They probably learn to pinch and zoom before they learn to read and write. Healthcare is another industry that has been fundamentally transformed through the digitization. X-rays can now be digitized. If you think about the way in which a doctor could transcribe a prescription, send that all the way to a pharmacy, share information with other doctors in a very secure fashion, fundamental transformation. If you think a low-tech industry like a zoo, okay, I was at the Santa Barbara Zoo and I'm talking to the zookeeper, and he told me that all the animals are digitized now. Okay? Not just the elephant, every flamingo has got an RFID tag. So we're here in a place where now every possible thing can now also be digitized. And as we think of VMware's proposition in this digital transformation, you heard this yesterday, and there's two parts of the story of VMware that come together. Digital transformation of the data center, preparing it for a public cloud world. And digitization of the end user workplace, preparing for an increasing mobile world. So everything can be viewed from the lens of mobile cloud. I was very gratified as I talked to people after yesterday's keynote. They said, when we came here last year, your cloud strategy sort of seemed cloudy. But here, yesterday, you heard a very crisp explanation of how VMware's proposition plays out in an increasingly public cloud world. And what I want to do today is walk you through how that proposition plays out for any app on any device, the green part of this diagram. Several years ago, when we began this transformation of end-user computing, we were just a tiny business, a few hundred million, 10,000 customers. We are now 66,000 customers of end-user computing, over $1 billion business, thanks to much of what you folks have all done with us. How many of you here are customers of VMware end-user computing? Horizon, AirWatch, Identity, it's great. Anybody here using Citrix, Mobile Iron? Good. It's okay, a few hands, you know, I'm not going to hold it against you. Come and talk to me at the end of my keynote, and I'll make sure by the end of my 20 minutes your mind has changed. But this is the world in which we live in now, where the combination of this blue and this green come together in what we describe as any app on any device. Let me spend a few minutes explaining that in a little more detail. When you think about the world of any apps, we think our research has shown that you could divide them into three camps: Windows client-server apps, web applications, and mobile native. We would love the entire world to be HTML5 and mobile native, but there's still a good part of the world that's client-server applications. We estimate about 40% is in category 1, Windows apps, 50% in the web category, some of them still running on an old browser, and 10% are native mobile. On the right-hand side, you've got a set of devices, which are increasingly of three kinds: the Apple world, iOS and Mac; the Google world, Android and Chrome; and increasingly what will become Windows 10. And to bring this world of any app on any device, you need a Switzerland type of player. That's what VMware's proposition is: to bring a Windows app potentially running on a Mac, a web application, HTML5, and we bring together three ingredient technologies in Workspace ONE. Sort of like baking a cake. When you think about a cake, you probably have flour and eggs and sugar or milk as your three ingredients. VDI, potentially, EMM, mobility, and identity are the three ingredients that are in Workspace ONE. And it saves you having to go and buy those technologies separately and stitch them together. We've integrated them into one holistic solution, and we've taken the proposition to be cloud first. We're one of the businesses inside VMware that's been cloud first in everything we've done. Not to say we can't run on premise, but we take a cloud first philosophy. So as you think about this, we work very closely with many of these key ecosystems to make sure we work very well in all of their environments. Apple had a big presence at our show. Samsung and Google had a big presence here. The entire Microsoft ecosystem also plays together. And the core goal is to ensure for those of you who are users and want choice, and for those of you who are IT and want control, you can bring choice and control together. Users want the aspects of consumer simplicity. IT wants enterprise security. We bring these two worlds together. And there are three core parts of what we're going to be describing very quickly today. It's an apps and identity layer that brings it all together. Identity is the new perimeter, very, very important. Desktop and mobile, management and security. Probably the best way to describe apps and identity and the way in which we use this is to look at how VMware uses Workspace ONE inside our own environment. We have 20,000 employees who all have rolled out Workspace ONE, and this has fundamentally transformed the way in which we work. So let's actually roll the demo and watch how we use this solution today. So I've got my iPhone here, and what I'm going to do is now launch into Workspace ONE. You'll notice here on my phone, I've got Workspace ONE, single touch ID. I've logged in here and I've accessed all the 400 apps we have at VMware. You saw ADP and Aetna, you may have Oracle and Concur. You scroll down a little further, you'll see SAP and Salesforce. We have 400 different applications, a combination of Windows, Web, and HTML5. I'm going to take a particular application, for example, Workday. And you'll notice now as I launch Workday, I don't have to log in a second time. Single sign-on, I get access to all of my HR information there simply and easily on my fingertips. We could pick up another application that has also built app config, native integration with AirWatch. This is BlueJeans, very creative content collaboration, high fidelity video on your phone. Again, you see how simple and easy that was. A significant part of our time, that you told us, is spent on email. In fact, the average research has shown that people take their phones out of their pocket about 100 times a day and use it for about 100 seconds. In my case, I might be a little bit worse. But we want to make that experience where you're communicating so easy and simple. And many of you said you like the security of solutions like Good and BlackBerry, but they were too hard to use, too complex. So Boxer, our email environment here, is just beautiful. It's a beautiful consumer-like experience. You notice here swipe gestures to be able to take care of emails in a very simple fashion. I might have an email here. Here's an email from Sumit and my team. As I reply, it's actually prompting me on my calendar for available slots and showing me exactly the slots that are open. And when I reply back to Sumit, those calendar slots are there ready to go. It's just giving me more productivity. I look for other emails in my inbox. Maybe here's an email from Rory. I'm going to put that in my junk folder. Sorry, Rory. But here is another email potentially from Pat. Pat happens to be my boss. It's doing analytics to detect that those perhaps need to go in a special folder. Here's a folder called Pat. We can take this a step further. Here's an example where I have an email from a CIO, Shelley Collins. It's gone into the Salesforce system to understand that I now have an action I can take from that Salesforce system connecting to my email box. We can take this a step further, and what we've done here now is with our analytics capability, you'll see this coming in a future release, we're using Google machine learning, where I can now say, what are my top 5 sales opportunities in the pipeline? And you'll find me now being able to detect that using voice recognition.
Hello, Sanjay Poonen. Here are the opportunities based on your filters.
Again, searching Salesforce, I can now drill into one of them, pick up a particular rep, Anthony Wilson, find out where he is in the organization, in the hierarchy, and call him directly. You see all of that simple and available. Let's take content, documents. You want to make sure your documents are in a variety of different stores. It might be Google Drive, it might be OneDrive. Here you notice Content Locker organizes that content. I can pick up a particular document here. Here's a document from one of my partners, SkyHigh. I'm able to simply and easily open that document, potentially even highlight text, and then save it back in a secure repository. I'll show you one final example of how we actually bring this together. How many of you look forward to filing your expense reports? Right? Great job that you all look forward to, or you fortunately may have an assistant that helps you with that. Let's make the expense reporting system one where you've collected all these workflows in sort of what feels like a bucket list. Okay? And here you'll notice we built a vApprove application. IT built this really fast. And here we have ways by which in simple gestures of approve or reject or route this, you notice you can approve your expenses or any workflow in a simple, easy fashion. This is the way in which VMware uses Workspace ONE every single day. And if you are a VMware employee or a customer, I want you to go up to any VMware employee and ask them to show you Workspace ONE on their phone or on their iPad And if they can't do it, you send me an email with their name. Okay? Okay, maybe my microphone's not working. Again, send the email with their name, and either we got to find a new employee for that job or do a better job of training. But this is the way in which we've transformed our life, and we've seen this now not just in an iPad. Here's an example of a Samsung tablet. I'm on this Android tablet, going to open up Horizon Air and launch a Windows application, okay, with fancy 3D graphics, okay, and all of this great capability now on an Android tablet. This is now VDI back on the server or in the cloud deployed. So we have lots of great customer case studies doing this. I thought to first now roll a customer video of Siemens and Deutsche Bahn and their success stories using our solution. Let's roll the customer video.